Good evening, my name is Wibranowski, and the topic for my presentation tonight is Islamic fundamentalism. And I wanted to start off by giving a brief description of what realism perspective theory is in international relations. And I want to start by mentioning that in this theory perspective, the state is the most important part. Realists do not believe in international organizations or anything like this. Basically, it's all based in power and in the state, and always acting in self-interest. With this being said, what is Islamic fundamentalist? Well, I wanted to give a description of what Islamic fundamentalist is, and basically it is a movement of Muslim people who aim to return to the preceding scriptures of the Islam. These movements started in the 19th century, which basically was created by the backlash of the Western colonies that shaped the Islamic fundamentals. And basically the goal of this movement is for all Muslim countries to return to the fundamentals of the Islamic State. So basically, the fundamentalism groups of people do not believe in the religion evolving. They're basically based on the old ideologies of the Islamic fundamentals. And so there are two types of fundamentalist groups inside the one word, which are traditionalist and reformist. The traditionals basically accept what happened in the preceding Islamic text, and they basically believe in the Quran and the Sunnah. They follow the Bidah, which basically means accepting what was said before and reforming to evolve, to innovate. While the reformist criticizes the tradition, they basically aim to purify the Islam by returning to the Quran and Sunnah. And this is one of the reasons which many scholars debate on why they're called fundamentalism instead of radical Islam, since all their ideals are basically lead to the radical way of thinking, which I think this is where it relates to the realism perspective theory, in a way where the fundamentalism part of the Islamic tend to lead to more power. They want to create this sense of unity and power and not accepting any other type of thinking. And with that being said, there are basically many differences in between the Islamists and the fundamentalism when it comes to politics and economics. And one of them is that Islamists believe that society will only be basically, societies will be back to the Islam based on social and political actions, while the fundamentalists believe that it has to be implemented by the Sharia law, which Islamists tend to look at that more of a project. So this is where human rights problems arise when it comes to the different ideals that these two groups have towards women. At least this is a great example to put on. Fundamentalists believe that women are not allowed to educate themselves, to grow and grow a career, while Islamists tend to believe that women are, able to obtain a career and education and be able to grow in their field as however they wish to, in difference of the fundamentalism, which go back to the thinking of that women are just to stay at home and take care of the men. And with this being said, I wanted to put it as a more constructive way of seeing it, where these ideals could be assessed in a better way with international organizations that could, help to fix these ideals and protect these human rights that are being broken by the fundamentalist way of thinking on this religion. And I wanted to finish my presentation by mentioning some of the fundamentalism groups, the groups that form the fundamentalism ideals, which are Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, Ansar Islam, Armed Islamic Group, Algeria, Army Islam, Boko Haram, which most of them are categorized by terrorist groups by the U.S. So this explains just how radical this fundamentalist way of thinking is.